An inch is a small measurement that makes a big difference in the world. It's easy to forget just how important measuring can be, but this mathematical skill is the difference between success and failure. A fraction of an inch is all it takes for a product to be perfect, a structure to be stable, or a surgery to be successful.
In almost every job, you're going to have to measure something. It's a very vital tool that you use everywhere in your life, but you don't even notice.
To help students measure up in the workforce, Inch by Inch was developed to teach how to read a ruler down to 1/16 of an inch. By strengthening these skills, students also gain an appreciation for measurements in everyday life.
We originally started this project just for the basis that we wanted to compete in Skills USA. Today we're here to teach you our lesson on how to read a ruler. This started out as our community service project, and we've just been taking it further and further ever since then. There's 16 different parts of the fraction. So if you look on a 6-inch ruler, there's all those little lines between the inches, and that's what we're going to teach you guys today.
Since measuring is such a big part of life, the Inch by Inch project will make it easier for everyone to learn this valuable math skill.
No matter what age group of students we teach, we usually get the same reaction, and that's in the beginning, before we start, you come in and it's like, oh yay, more presenters, we're gonna learn a math lesson, we don't wanna learn how to read a ruler, you're never gonna need to know this. And by the end, they're a lot more confident in that skill, they know they can do it, and they all have fun doing it, and you can see that, and I love seeing the smiles that we can put on their faces after our lesson is done. Today we're here to teach you how to read a ruler. This is an essential life skill no matter what career path you choose. And when you look at a ruler, all those little lines between the inches are the fractions. So we have fraction blocks that are going to represent each one of those lines. This is a more visual way to grasp the concept. We're going to start with 1/16 because that is the first fraction that you will find. After 1/16 is 2/16. Now, 2 is an even number, so we have to reduce this fraction. So how we reduce it, we take half a 2 and half a 16, which gives us 1/8. So we have a 1/8 block, so we're going to put that one next. So after 1/16 and 2/16, we're going to go to 3/16. And since 3 is an odd number, it doesn't have to be reduced anymore. Now, after 3/16 comes 4/16. 4, as you would guess, is an even number, so we will have to reduce the fraction. So we take half a 4 and half a 16th, which gives us 2/8. 2 is still an even number, so we have to reduce it yet again. So we have to take half a 2 and half a 8, which gives us 1/4. So we would put that block next. The easiest way to think about a ruler and how it's broken down is you think about pizza. When you look at a pizza pie, it's usually broken up into 8 equal pieces. A ruler is just twice as much. A ruler is broken up into 16 pieces. If you think of a pizza pie cut in 16 even pieces, if you take 4 of them, well, your fraction's going to be 4/16. All you do, since 4 is an even number, you reduce it down to 1/4. And there you go, you have a fraction on the inch. The easiest way to think about fractions in an inch is how a pizza is broken down into 8 slices. After 4/16 comes 5/16. 5 is an odd number, so it doesn't have to be reduced. Now, when you look at all the numbers, a pattern has occurred. When you look at the top numbers, it's 1, 1, 3, 1, and 5, which all are odd numbers. So you can take a guess that once we get through this entire ruler, all the top numbers will be odd. And that's one way to judge if you have your fraction reduced all the way or not. So we're going to go on from 5/16 to 6/16. 6 is an even number, so it has to be reduced. So we're going to reduce 6/16 down to 3/8 by taking half the numerator and half the denominator. After 6/16, we're going to go on to 7/16. 7, as you would guess, is an odd number, so we don't have to reduce it. After 7/16 comes 8/16. 8 is an even number, so we have to take half a 8 and half a 16th, which gives us 4/8. 4 is still an even number, so we're going to take half a 4 and half a 8, which gives us 2/4. Now, 2/4, the top number, is still an even number. So we're going to take half a 2 and half a 4, which gets reduced down to 1/2. So we go from 8/16 and it gets all the way reduced to 1/2. We have now gotten halfway through this ruler. After 8/16, we're going to go on to 9/16. And 9 is an odd number, so it doesn't have to be reduced. Now, there is another pattern that occurs. When it goes 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16, all the way to 9/16, every other number in the number line is even. So we know every other fraction has to be reduced. So, if 9/16 didn't have to be reduced, the next fraction, 10/16, does. We know this because 10/16, 10 is an even number. So we're going to take half a 10 and half a 16th, which gets reduced down to 5/8. 5's an odd number, so we're done reducing. After 5/8 comes 11/16. 11 is an odd number, so we don't have to reduce it. After 11/16, since this did not have to be reduced, we know that 12/16 does. So half a 12 and half a 16 becomes 6/8. Now, since 6 is an even number, we have to yet again reduce the fraction. So we're going to take half a 6 and half a 8, which gives us 3/4. And since we have a 3/4 block, that comes next. And one way to check is 3 is an odd number, so we have reduced the fraction to the lowest common denominator. Now, after 12/16 comes 13/16, and since 3/4 had to be reduced, 13/16 does not. After 13/16 then comes 14/16, and since 13 did not have to be reduced, we know that 14 has to be by the rule that we established when we got to half the ruler. Now, half of 14/16 gets reduced to 7/8. 7 is an odd number, so we have completed reducing it. After 14/16, the next fraction would be 15/16. And as you can guess, 15 is an odd number, so that does not have to be reduced. We have successfully completed this ruler, but if you look, it goes 1 through 15. There's a lot of people that ask, why isn't there a 16/16? When you look at 16/16, it can get reduced all the way down to 1, which would in turn be the next inch on a ruler. When you look at a 6-inch ruler, you can imagine that this would be the first inch. This would be the 1, and this over here would be the 2. If you look at all of these fractions, they all get repeated within each inch of a ruler.